one and all. This is Mydhili from Chempaka International here to report this week's global news. US restores sanctions waiver to Iran with nuclear talks in final phase. President Joe Biden's administration on Friday restored sanctions waiver to Iran to allow international nuclear cooperation projects as indirect American-Iranian talks on reviving the 2015 international nuclear deal with Tehran enter the final strike. The indirect talks are aimed at having the United States return to the agreement and Iran resume compliance. The agreement was reached under former President Barack Obama, and Biden has pledged to try to bring the United States back to it. China wants US to do more to reduce North Korea tensions. China's UN ambassador said Friday the US should come up with more attractive and more practical policies and actions to reduce tensions with North Korea and avoid a return to a vicious circle of confrontation, condemnation, and sanctions over its nuclear and ballistic missile program. Xiang Jun said that the solution lies in direct dialogue and that if Biden administration wants to see a breakthrough with Pyongyang, they should show more sincerity and flexibility. Contagious subvariant of Omicron now detected in 57 countries. UN Health Agency says initial data shows BA2 is a little more infectious than earlier versions of Omicron. A recently discovered subvariant of the highly contagious Omicron coronavirus strain has now been detected in 57 countries, the World Health Organization says. In its weekly epidemiological update, the United Nations Health Agency noted on Tuesday that in some countries the subvariant now accounts for more than half of all sequent Omicron cases. Taiwan condemns contemptible timing of China and Russia partnership. Taiwan on Saturday condemned the timing of China and Russia's no limits partnership as the start of the Winter Olympics, saying the Chinese government was bringing shame to the spirit of the games. China and Russia, at a meeting of their leaders hours before the Winter Olympics officially opened, backed each other over standoffs on Ukraine and Taiwan with a promise to collaborate more against the West. Russia voiced its support for China's stance that democratically governed Taiwan is an inalienable part of China and opposition to any form of independence for the island. Taiwan's foreign ministry said China's continued false claims the island is a part of People's Republic of China were exactly the same as the country's habit of spreading fake news. Olympics burst into life under shadow of COVID and conflict. President Xi Jinping declared the Beijing Winter Olympics open Friday as China tried to turn the page on a build-up overshadowed by human rights concerns, COVID-19 and US-led diplomatic boycott. Fireworks exploded over the bird's nest as the lattice-shaped stadium took center stage just as it did at the 2008 Games, and Beijing becomes the first city to host both a summer and winter Olympics. Mr. Xi was given a rapturous welcome by the socially distanced crowd wearing face masks. The snowflake team ceremony got off to a solemn start when 8 soldiers slow marched with the Chinese flag before the national anthem rang out into the cold air. With that, we conclude the news for this week. And this is Mydhili signing off, and we shall all see you next week.